Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series, and I was so excited about this book, and I had a lot of fun reading it, I just gotta say. I was kind of saving it for a special moment because this is the fourth book in this series. The fifth one's not out till August, so I wanted to wait and kind of like savor this book. And actually, I was excited about when I chose to read it. I recently went on a trip to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and you can see my Alabama book haul video on another video on this channel. But I read a few books and they ended up all being based around the beach, which was kind of awesome to sit on the beach and read this book, which is what I did. So I read for my beach read down in Gulf Shores, Monsterious, book number 4, The Beast of Skull Rock by McMann. Now, I gotta say, I have loved this series. This series has been so much fun, in my opinion, to read. This is the fourth book, and I have loved every single one. My favorites, they have them all in the back here, the other three. My favorite so far has been Terror in Shadow Canyon, book number 3, and I really liked book number 1 too, Escape from Grimstone Manor. And then book number 2, so The Snatcher of Raven Hollow, was good, but it wasn't my favorite of all 4. So this one, book number 4, I think I'm going to put this one at number 3. So let me talk a bit about this book because it was really good. I'm just going to say that off the bat. It's still really good. I just was able to guess quite a few of the plot points. And I don't know if that's because now that I've read 3 other books by McMann, I can start to see some of his tricks. You know, authors have some different tricks, things that they do, things that they kind of lean towards in their plotting and their characters and the ways they do things. And in this book, I just was able to guess quite a few of the things ahead of time. Now, there were a couple of things I did not guess, and I have some major questions about a couple of characters because I kept thinking, wait a minute, what's going on with this character? Because there's more than meets the eye here. And are you going to do something with this later? What's going on with this? So, let me explain. In this book, Simon and Jade are going to visit their grandpa. I'm telling you, I'm reading so many books lately where they're kids who are going to visit a relative. At least in this book, kudos to McMann because all the cheer in the world. Because in this book, the parents actually go talk to the relative that the kids are staying with. I can't tell you how many books I've been reading lately where the kids just get dropped off at someone's house and then the parents don't even come inside to like check in with the adult who's going to be taking care of the kids. It makes no sense to me. I don't know if that's like a generational parent thing, like different generations of parents did this differently, and millennial parents, who are usually the parents in these books, are just a little more like, I'm just going to check and make sure everything's good before I leave. That is definitely what I would do, but that's just me. So, in this book, Simon and Jade are going to go visit their grandpa, who owns a weird side museum, which I love this. I just talked about in my Fright Night video, the Ghosts of Fear Street book, number 7, about how I love the atmosphere of that book, how they were in like this kind of weird old museum, and that was like the setting, and that's the setting in this one. It's a weird old museum with lots of interesting artifacts and displays, and this one kind of leans a little more into the cryptids. Cryptids, if you don't know what they are kind of like creatures that we don't exactly know they're not real because we don't have proof they're not real. And sometimes there's some interesting proof that they might be real, but there's just nothing confirmed. So like, for instance, Sasquatch or Loch Ness, those are kind of the 2 typical ones a lot of people think of, or like Mothman, or those kinds of things. In this book, there's a creature called a Morgund, which is kind of like a were-hyena kind of thing. That's like this statue that they have as a cryptid and in the museum. And I really loved this. It was so much fun. So, what's happening? This town is set at the beach, which was part of my beach kind of read. It was so great. This town is at the beach, and the 2 kids are so excited to be spending, this time with their grandpa. They're going to help out in the shop a little bit, in the museum, because the museum has a little museum shop and stuff like that. So they're going to help in the museum while they're staying with their grandpa. And they love staying with their grandpa. But right now, their grandma's off visiting France, and Grandpa's kind of sad, and something seems to be going on, and the kids are just not sure what, until they hear about the attacks. Somewhere in town, there have been animal attacks on people and buildings, and things are getting worse and worse. And Matt McMann does his thing he usually does now, where you see a few times from the creature's point of view, where you can kind of see it's like a short, like usually 2-page chapter from the creature's point of view. And this creature is menacing, it is evil, and it is out to get people and things in the town. And I was here for it. It was so great. I thought that part of this book was so good. The characters are also great. Simon and Jade are a lot of fun to follow. They have a good banter. They also have really good, like, just detective skills. Like, they're just thinking it through, doing some, like, Googling research, you know, trying to figure things out as they're trying to see, like, what's going on in this town. And they start to wonder if what's going on in this town has something to do with their grandpa's museum. Oh, but you got to read to find out, because no spoilers in this review. So, this book, I gotta say, like I said, I guessed quite a bit of it. Pretty much from the beginning. There was quite a bit that I thought, oh, okay, it's probably going to be this and this and this. And it ended up being that. Now, I will say, even though I was able to guess pretty much all the pieces of the plot, it still was a fun journey to get there. And there was some real danger. There were a couple of moments where there's some things that happened that I thought, oh, I wasn't thinking you were actually going to do that. But okay, well, that's intense. And I really enjoyed it. There's also, now here's where I'm questioning what's going on with some side characters. There are a few side characters introduced here, including this man who owns the bookshop across the street, who has a pet raven. And like the bookshop is called Edgar's, and so Raven, Edgar Allan Poe, I'll let you piece all that together. But I kept thinking, what's going on with these characters? There's something here, and it never really gets explained. And I kept thinking, are you saving this for another book? But this is an anthology series, so I don't think so. So there were a couple of things that I thought, I'm curious what you were maybe going to do with that, and maybe changed your mind, or you were setting up the piece for something else later. Because I will say, Matt McMann does weave in kind of like Easter eggs from other books and Easter eggs from other little things. So like, for instance, in this book, right from the beginning, the kids are reading one of the books in this series. So I kept thinking, okay, so you're like actually reading the book that was in this series. So is this book exist in this world? I don't know how that all works, but it was a lot of fun. The little Easter eggs like that he does put in. And I kept thinking, well, maybe all of this is just about Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know, but there's an Edgar Allan Poe thing going on here, and I'm curious. I do think there is some allusions. This could be a slight spoiler. If you want to skip ahead like 30 seconds, then skip ahead 30 seconds. Otherwise, you have been warned. I do think there are some allusions to Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. And I think that could be a piece of an inspiration for this book, and this book has some similarities to that storyline. So the Telltale Heart, you know, there's the thumping of the heart under the floorboards that the main character keeps hearing over and over again. And so I do think that is an illusion that is made in the structure of this story. So, and hats off to Matt McMann. I think he pulled that off quite well. So if that's what he was going for, I don't know, maybe that was a subconscious thing. And sometimes that happens with writers. Like, subconscious things kind of come out in the writing and you don't even know until it happens. So I did enjoy this one. Simon and Jade don't have a lot of character growth, I would say. They're kind of a little more there for the plot, which is fine. They have a lot of fun throughout the book, and they have some good banter, like I said, and they're good detectives. They have some good ideas. There are some good high stakes. It's well done. So I would give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it was a lot of fun to read. Not my favorite of the Monsterious books. I still think Terror in Shadow Canyon, the one with the spiders, is my favorite of them all. That one was just so good and had such a good character development moment throughout it. But this one is still a lot of fun. If you like the Monsterious books so far, this is more of what you will like. It is more of those kinds of stories that you're going to enjoy and have a lot of fun with. So definitely check this one out. I would say these are great books to read. I highly recommend. So until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.